Hello and welcome, Gabrielle. This is second time on the channel. So I think it's fair to say that I officially have become a friend of the channel. How are you?
I'm good. Dahana deka.
Dahania. How's Tigray coming along?
It's good. It's a hard language to learn, but it's going okay.
Are you attending any Tigray classes or?
I have a private teacher who I meet with
Mhm.
once a week, or like 1 to 2 times a week.
Mm, mm. Well, so for some people who might not know you, I think many of my viewers will have watched our previous interview, so they will have some idea about who you are, what it is that you do. But to make sure that everybody is on the same page, maybe tell us a little bit about how you would describe yourself.
Okay. I'm an artist. I work in painting and film. I'm originally from the Chicago area of the US, and I'm currently living now in Tigray. I moved here in January, February. And I'm still here now. So I'm here basically to help contribute to the creative community, the small artist community that we have, and how to use art-based methods for healing. I think art can be an amazing art therapy tool. There have been a lot of studies done on this. So that's basically what we're working on here. Yeah.
Yeah, and to add some some details in terms of your contribution, you were using art to speak up about what was happening in Tigray, to express the pain that people were going through, and you were deeply involved in the Tigray activism during the war. And after the war, you have moved to Tigray, and that's how come you are in Mekelle now.
Yes.
What is the sort of reception like in Tigray for artistic expression? How do you see that?
I think people find it very interesting, but I think people's first reaction to art is that they don't understand it. Um, Maybe this creates a little intimidation, like they feel like they can't make art, they don't understand art, so they have no idea how to approach art. However, I think this is not true. Like art is already so deeply embedded in our culture, even from a religious standpoint. You'll never go into a church that doesn't have painted imagery of some sort. Even how art has been used in our history to implement religion into the society has been huge. Yeah, our music, poetry, like arts is already so much in our lives. But yeah, I think when people come into the art gallery in Mekelle, they look around, they find it very interesting. There's only one art gallery in the city, and it actually opened during the war.
I follow the. You have a group on Facebook and maybe on other social media platforms as well, where you do where you show what you call urban sketching.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit more in detail about what the whole sort of project of the urban sketching. What are you trying to do there?
So all of these initiatives that I'm a part of, they're not things that I started when I came here. These are things that they have been doing, locals have been doing before I came here. So urban sketching, and I've just been helping to amplify it. So urban sketching, Urban Sketchers is a group here. We meet every Saturday morning at the art gallery, and then we go to a different location in the city and we just paint and draw and capture exactly where we are, what it looks like truthfully at that time. And this is really interesting because I think Mekelle is constantly in a state of change right now. And also there's so much throughout Tigray aftermath of the war. And I don't know, it's just really impactful to capture it through painting. Art is a medium that I think is very truthful. Not only is it documentation, but it's also including emotion into an image. Whereas a picture just takes a picture, a painting tells like a very huge story. Photography can do that too, but painting just does it in a different way. So for example, we went to Al-Najashi Mosque in one of our like group, like going outside of the city for once. And of course, there's a huge hole in the top of the mosque from when it was bombed. And we painted that. So yeah, and people find it really interesting to see us, like when they see us painting on the street, they stare, they stop, they look at what we're doing. But I think, yeah, it's even an opportunity for people who are not artists to just like take a moment of stillness in the city and draw and paint with us. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do here.
What about, you mentioned art gallery. If people were to come visit the art gallery, what would they see?
Mhm. So the art gallery I'm talking of it's called a Sunny Art Gallery. It's located like right behind Aksum Hotel on the road to Noble House. And if they came into the art gallery, they would see so many things. They would see art. They would see paintings everywhere, all over the wall. They would maybe see kids inside of the gallery drawing. They would maybe come in and see an exhibition happening or an art lecture. They would see perhaps an art class. They have classes like all throughout the week, every afternoon, like realistic drawing class. Because a lot of like from the schools, art has been cut because it hasn't been seen as a priority. Those kids need to catch up on like the very important subjects. So art has been cut from the curriculum in a lot of schools. So coming into the art gallery, a lot of students are able to learn things they're very passionate about, like drawing. So there are classes all throughout the week, and they happen like on a semester basis.
Well, so in addition to the sketching and other artistic activities that you are doing in Mekelle, I wonder if there is an effort to try to make art a mainstream thing, either by introducing it to the curriculum or something like that. Are there such kinds of efforts that you recognize?
On a mainstream level, right now, no, I don't see that happening. From like the actions of people, but I could see it happening in the future. Like I see it in my vision, like in the future, because when people come to the gallery, they're very impressed. They're seeing something they've never seen before. So I think it's a very new thing. And when you have very new things, it takes time maybe for people to implement it into things they're working on. Ever since people have like found the art gallery, they've used the space for various different things. People have even used the art gallery for like group trainings for companies that are not art related at all, but are trying to have some sort of reflective group training, healing sessions, which our community very much needs. So the art gallery has been used as a space that people have gone to find peace and reflection also.
So I mean, during the war, you were, like you said, based in the US. So you were relying on the news and other sources for input, and you were basing your artistic expression on that. But now you are at the heart of it, in Tigray and Mekelle. You see the pain, you see the actual experience that people have had to endure. How did that change your sort of your imagination, if that is the right way of putting it?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's so different. Not like different than what I would imagine, but just it's real now. Like now I'm finally here. When you are in the diaspora, you are living in like a yearning. To be a diaspora means to live in yearning, to live in longing. and you're just so far away from a place that you think about every day. So of course, like the only way you can connect to that place is in your imagination and your mind and your memories. The only thing I had during the war when I was gone was my memories of Mekelle. And now I'm in the reality of it. And it's not like I had expectations. I came here with no expectations at all, honestly. I've met a lot of people who said they had expectations of seeing everything damaged and ruined, and I didn't have such expectations. I just came here with like an empty mind. But yeah, being here, I mean, it's so, yeah, being face to face with so much pain and the reality of what has happened, and speaking to people directly who choose to open up to you, because it's not like people are just freely talking about the worst time of their life. I mean, maybe some people are like that, but a lot of people aren't. So when people choose to open up to you about their experience, yeah, it's much different than watching like a few interviews online when you're in the diaspora, just hearing people's experience through like through what you can get. But here you're face to face with it, and yeah, it's in the beginning it was so heavy, I think, emotionally, and it took me a long time to process everything. And yeah, there were actually a lot of things I didn't expect. Um, like yeah, there were a lot of things I didn't expect in terms of people's mindset toward certain things. But yeah.
Hmm. Well, I think the expectation thing you mentioned, Gabriel, is an interesting one. I have heard a lot of Tigrayan diaspora who have recently visited Tigray, and the one thing that they invariably say is that what they saw in Tigray wasn't what they had expected. There is an element of surprise, and they don't quite spell it out, but there is always an element of surprise that they say, "Well, this is not what we expected." And I wonder if that is also, maybe we'll come to that later, because it's not really directly related with art. I want us first to explore the artistic work you're doing, but definitely we're going to come back to that, and you're going to tell us your experience, because you grew up in the US. You didn't have that much of a physical connection with Tigray, but now you are in Tigray, and you will have noticed some things, some of which inevitably would have surprised you. But in terms of the art, Gabriel, I was wondering if, I mean, earlier I asked you if you're trying to make it mainstream, but also I have been wondering if you are, I mean, you have thought of sort of opening something that looks like a school, maybe, I don't know, if an art school or something like that. Is that something in the in the pipeline, in the thinking?
I think what I really wanted to do the most was help to make stronger and bigger what people here have already started. I didn't come with like a big like I think during the war I had a lot of ideas and dreams of what I wanted to like come here and do. But I think leading up to my trip coming here in the beginning, I was like, this trip should really be to maybe shut up and listen to people who are living here, and what they think is needed and what is possible right now, and what already has been started and how we can grow that together. So the art gallery, for example, they have somewhat of a school already that they operate from the art gallery. So the only thing I would want to do is like, how can we grow those? I think we definitely are thinking of like moving into, it'd be great if we had like a bigger space where like, yeah, like a huge, like, yeah, a much bigger space. And with that, we could do so many more things. But yeah, they're already doing so many amazing things before I got here. And I just want to help like make it better.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I was in Tigray as well recently, and one thing that I noticed. It's not something that is new to me. But one thing that you will have noticed as well is that young people waste their time doing something that you couldn't see the point of. Um,
Mm,
so from that point of view, I am immensely grateful that you are trying to push young people to do art and to spend their time in worthwhile activities, and that is why I am asking you if you are trying to go mainstream, because a lot of people would be inspired to go into those sorts of things, not least because it is the right way for young people to spend their time. So I think I don't know if that is something that you have noticed as well, but that was my observation. You know, young people into drinking and in completely useless things. And it's what you're doing in Mekelle in terms of the art, the urban sketching and stuff like that is a welcome break from that.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, I think like, I guess I don't have like a strong intention of we need to make this mainstream. I think things can naturally become popular when you are consistent at them and you're truly building it to the vision that you are dreaming of, and it attracts people. Like when I started making um like these TikTok videos for the urban sketching group, they got very, very popular. Unlike Tigray, social media, like what the young people use, just naturally, because what we're doing is naturally awesome, and I'm just documenting it. So yeah, we just need to like be consistent in what we're doing and continually think of new ideas and do them. And I think people need to get traumatized, whether they or they feel they have nothing to do, and they're still coming out of what was like the worst thing they will have ever experienced in their life. So like I don't blame them. But I think what we really want to create is like an art culture. Like, for example, I think young people here look at what people in Addis are doing in Addis, and they're like, oh, they have all these like cool like art galleries, like multiple, not just one. And they have concert halls and like a place to go to listen to jazz. And they have like cool places to sit and drink, but they're like artistic and beautiful. And it's like here, I don't have any of that. So I think we really, yeah, want to create more artistic, creative, cultural experiences. And hopefully this will, yeah, change the culture and the young generation.
Mm, mm. Well, I think the connection is getting a bit patchy. I don't know
Oh
if it's from.
no,
Yeah, I mean,
did you
it's
hear
good
me?
enough. It's good enough. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. But yeah, there's a bit of an issue. But we're going to hope that it improves. Yeah, another point that I want to raise here, Gabriel, is I mean, you say that when you went to Mekelle, you went with the mindset of not wanting to lecture people, but to just listen, to observe and to express what you see and what you observe through art. But I don't want to sound too philosophical, but I wonder if your artistic work is focused on describing what you see with all its ugly aspects, or you also from time to time do art to sort of tell people this is how things should be.
Hmm.
Do you see the distinction? Do you just see something and observe something and then just describe it as it is, or do you also try to tell people this is how things should be?
Hmm. Hmm. I think maybe I don't know, I think maybe it's my own self insecurity that would stop me from doing like something like that. I mean, an artist is like already creating what he or she envisions. I mean, during the war, I was creating art that was very emotional and painful, um, but also hopeful. And now, yeah, I mean, I guess like being a person here who is Tigrayan but grew up in a different country, barely speaks Tigrinya, it's like, what can I tell people? Like, I don't know, it's like, especially when you're in diaspora, I think a lot of people think diaspora speak from a place of privilege. You know, they think diaspora have no idea, they don't understand at all. They don't understand anything. That's what a lot of people think. So I don't know, I guess it seems like if I were to come from a place of this is how I think things should be, no one would really listen. It really has to be a collaboration. And from what I've learned, there seems to be a huge divide mentally from diaspora and people who live here. I've had a lot of interesting conversations that have opened my eyes to things I didn't know before coming here. And that was something I didn't expect, like arguing with people about certain things when I kind of thought we were all like one. Like in the diaspora, there was during the war, there was this huge we are Tagaro, they're one, like this like type of united mindset. And you can't, and I think diaspora, when they come here, they have this mindset that people here think like that too. But they kind of don't. Like, and by that I mean like, I don't know. I don't think a lot of people here look at diaspora as like really understanding what they went through. Because how could we? We didn't go through I wasn't here during the war, so I don't like understand that level, deep level of despair and fear of what it means to hear a bomb. Like I don't understand that. And that wasn't my experience. And then even from the political standpoint, like I think people have a certain view of things because of their experiences. So if our experiences are different, maybe we will think in different ways. That is just natural. So yeah, I don't really want to come here with this is how I think things should be. Where is that coming from? It's maybe coming from my experience, but my experience is different from them. But now I'm living in their world. So I'm really in a part of my life now where I'm just still learning a lot, I think. I'm still learning a lot. And it's not that I don't share like my dreams of what I think things could be. Like when you also didn't go through war and trauma in the way that they did, you can come also with a mindset that maybe wasn't in their grasp because they were cut off from the world. So yeah, I share my experiences, I share my thoughts, but not in a way that overpowers and this is how things should be. That really needs to be a collaboration. I think that's the only way that we can really grow together because there are a lot of diaspora that have come here and they've left now. And I'm just wondering, what is the divide and how can we get through it? You know, it can't be impossible. Living here as a diaspora, it can't just be impossible. Like, I really don't want to give up, even though things are hard. Like, I'm really, yeah, trying to get through that.
Well, I think that humility point you mentioned, Gabriel, is fascinating. The humility to say that in some sense I am an outsider. I didn't live their experience during the war, and therefore I'm not in a position to tell people how they should see the politics, how they should understand matters, and stuff like that. And I think there's a material distinction between people like me who grew up in Tigray, and even though I am in Sweden now, I feel that I know all the sort of all the answers. And my mindset is to say only if people could listen to me, only if people could see the problems that I see, and only if people could understand the problem in the way that I do. So there is an element of arrogance that is ingrained in me, and I see that in a lot of people who grew up in Tigray like me. But people like you are different, and I observe that. I wonder if that is also something that you notice. You are more sort of you are more inclined to say, "Well, I don't know. This is not my position to tell people." And then on the other hand, there are people like me who say, "This is how we should do it." And the reason you are where you are is because you're not listening to me. Is that something that you relate to?
Yeah, I mean, it made sense because not only, yeah, I didn't grow up here at all. My first time coming was like right before the war. My first time coming to Tigray. I had been to Ethiopia many times, but my first time coming here was yeah, like 7 months before the war. So yeah, I mean, I've even throughout Ethiopia, my many times coming to Ethiopia, I saw so many problems that made me very angry, and things I experienced firsthand that made me very angry and violated even. Um, but yeah, in terms of like, this is not how things should be. Maybe the only closest conversation I have like that, where I'm really, really expressing myself, or like with my friends, like my closest friends. And yeah, it's interesting. Like a lot of times we are actually saying the same thing, just in a completely different way. Like some of the arguments I have with people. But yeah, it's interesting.
Well, I mean, we are digressing from art in a way, but I think there's a lot of interesting things to explore here, because, not least because you are someone who moved to Tigray after the war, and a lot of young people like you have moved from different parts of the West to Tigray after the war, and there is a certain experience that they share, some of which that you alluded to. You said that some people have already left because they're not happy with the way things are in Tigray, and some people are sticking around. And I think there's something there's a problem that people are not talking about. And I wonder how the whole experience of moving to Tigray has been for you personally, for instance, from the US, from a very comfortable life in the US to Tigray, who let's not sugarcoat anything. This is a really horrible place in terms of the economic deprivation, in terms of what people are going through. It's not an ideal place to live, but you're sticking around. And how had that experience been for you?
Well, I think I'll start like during the war, a lot of diaspora said that they would move here, or at least come for a long period of time. And again, it was like that extreme passion that we had during the war. Like so many people united, like the advocacy, like it really took over our lives. A lot of us, like the ones who invested themselves, like really deeply into it, whether they were in the public or in private, like it took over so many people's lives. And so for me, I knew that moving here was inevitable, like that was something that I had promised that I would do, even when the war was still going. And so yeah, then coming here, I mean, I'm really lucky that I have such a great community of people. Like I found the art community, I found my friends. They're people who I deeply love and trust. And I'm really, really lucky in that regard. It's not like in the first week, I was very nervous and scared and didn't even know how to catch a bajaj by myself. Like just complete, felt like an alien that came to a different planet. But, and I mean, this is I should say when I first came in January, and I came for 2 weeks and visited my family and stayed with them. Then I went to Sweden for 2 weeks, and it was during that time in Sweden where I was like, I really think I should go back. I didn't know when exactly I should like stay here for a long period of time. I had planned to be in Europe during this time, actually. And then something inside of me told me, just make the move now. And so after being in Sweden for 2 weeks, I came right back, and I've been here since. So yeah, it's been a learning experience. I mean, learning how the water works, learning how the electricity works, learning just the basics of everything. And yeah, I'm just really so lucky that I have a great community of people. I think like diaspora who have come here, maybe they have a great community of friends, but maybe the people they work with are not trustworthy. I'm lucky that the people I work with are my friends. Like I'm really I'm really so lucky.
I think that's
So
a good point because there will be some people in that some Tigrayans in the diaspora who will be listening to us now and who have entertained the idea of moving to Tigray, but they haven't because they are not sure what to expect. So it's good that we sort of giving them insight about what to expect. I think in broad outlines, everybody knows what the problems in Tigray are. You know, there is the electricity is patchy, water isn't guaranteed, and you know the prospect of war is always there. So those broad outlines, I think everybody knows. But in terms of the details and the day-to-day life in Tigray, I think this is a good insight that you are giving them. But I mean, I don't want to get you into politics, Gabriel. But one thing that I sensed in my 2-3 week stay in Tigray, I think it would have been in December, is that the diaspora and the local population have a sort of a different sense of priority in terms of the politics. The people there are more focused on the internal politics because they have suffered, and when you have political discussion with them, they want to focus on how broken the local politics is, and they want to focus on that. Whereas the
yes,
diaspora, so sort of the Twitter community, is more interested in the bigger picture. So
yes.
what are the political forces around Tigray thinking, and how we should sort of neutralize that. So there is a degree of disconnect. And when people from the diaspora move to Tigray and they find out that the conversations people have in Tigray are completely different, the sense of priority is completely different, there is a sense of um, dissatisfaction. Is that something that you notice as well?
Yeah, that's something I definitely experienced. I mean, when I first came here, like you said, in the diaspora, we're very much focused on like not so much the local politics. And one, we have like a huge disgust wasn't even the word, but like complete just yeah, like we put so much responsibility, I think, on like the federal government, what they have done internationally, what is happening internationally in government, like why has no one paid attention to the humanitarian crisis happening in Tigray? Like this needs to be taken seriously. But then, yeah, I think coming here, it was a new thing for me to realize how much people were upset and felt used and felt so resentful to the local government in Tigray. That was new for me. Like it felt like people were talking more badly about the local government than even the Ethiopian government or even Ethiopians in general. It's like that was less important, which that was new for that was really new for me. But from what I learned from listening, a lot of people here feel like this could have been avoided had their local government have done differently. And all of my friends, who majority of my friends are local friends. I don't really spend time with diaspora at all. The ones that live here, majority of all my friends are people who were here during the war. So these are the people I'm in conversation with. Yeah, and so that means that a lot of my friends are people who were in TDF, and they feel like joining TDF it's the biggest regret of their life. And this is something that people who don't even know each other, all people who I know that were in TDF, most of them, yeah, all the ones I know have said the same words, which was so heartbreaking. when in the diaspora, we were like TDF, TDF, TDF. And then TDF was here saying that this is the biggest regret of their life, and they felt completely used by the Tigray government. So yeah, that was so heartbreaking. And yeah, a bit upsetting, I think, for diaspora to hear like, what about like Abiy Ahmed? What about the Ethiopian federal government? Like they are the government that's kind of they're the federal government. They should be thinking of all Ethiopians like these people are their responsibility. They did a genocide. I've even heard Tigrayans here say they don't believe a genocide happened because of how much they hate the Tigray government. To them, I said, well, so if you believe that both are responsible, then would you say a genocide happened? They're like, yeah, then maybe. It's just there's so much resentment to the local government. Yeah, that was a new thing for me.
What?
When I came in January, that was
Yeah,
anything.
no, I understand. Yeah, I understand. But yeah, to take you back to art, which is why we are here, Gabrielle. One thing that I hear people in Tigray say is that despite all the problems in Tigray, at least there is a degree of freedom. At least people could sort of feel free to express their frustration in Mekelle and in Tigray in a way that is not the case across Ethiopia. I think in Ethiopia, you would be arrested if you were to say something that was against what Abiy Ahmed considers acceptable. But in Tigray, there seems to be a relative degree of freedom, at least for now. Is that something that you notice as well in Mekelle when you go around and speak to people? Do you sense a degree of sort of ease and freedom in people to say whatever they want to say?
Yeah, and I think that maybe because everyone was kind of on the same page with it. Yeah.
And yeah, and my next question was: is that something that you enjoy as an artist? For instance, if you wanted to paint or to produce something that might not sit well with the government, with the local government, have you ever sort of held back out of worry that it might not sit well with some people in positions of power, or that hasn't occurred to you? You're
No,
free.
and that hasn't occurred to me, no. But yeah, it's good that people are expressing themselves, at least in conversation with each other. It's not like if you're in public talking about something, you have to like whisper, like it's none of that. People can freely talk. It's not like anyone is like shouting it from the mountaintops. But yeah, and I guess on like an art level, yeah, we paint things as we see them. And yeah, I don't feel like I will ever like censor myself, and I don't think other people feel that way.
No, that's wonderful. I think, I mean, I can't imagine how an artist could survive in an environment where they're having to censor themselves. So that is a positive thing to hear. So what are the plans now in terms of your artistic project, whether that be the urban sketching or the gallery or books? What are you planning to do?
So, like I was saying in the beginning, we really want to use art in a serious way, in projects that are surrounded with, based upon like art therapy methods. So we have a project at the gallery coming up, called Faces of Tigray, which will be a project that brings together a group of local artists, with a group of children who are living in the IDP center. And they're going to be having these weekly art sessions where they are documenting the stories of these children, a lot of these children already, they come into the gallery just for fun. and draw, and they are able to openly do that. But we wanted to give them a more sort of structured project. This is a project that the artists of the gallery had already formed before I even arrived. This is completely their idea, and we just needed funding for it, and we got that now. So yeah, we want to start getting it off the ground. We also want to maybe hire like a therapist to be there on site and really research how art and drawing can be used in a therapeutical way. And so it seems like the kids have already started doing that for themselves. Like I said, there are kids from the IDP Center that will come into the gallery and just sit and draw of their own choosing. So this will be something that is a structured program for them. And yeah, hopefully we can also use it with adults eventually.
No, well, that's wonderful. I mean, if you assume that people of influence in Tigray were listening to us, which they might be, um, what would be your plea to them? What would you sort of need help with? What kind of help would you ask from, I don't know, from various bodies in Malala?
Maybe to visit the art gallery. I think if they visited, they would already be impacted. Because art is something that you've experienced. So, and even the act of experiencing it was very impactful, healing, emotional. I mean, the art in the gallery right now is so impressive and so just amazing. It's all made by local artists. A lot of which people who have documented their experience and things that they saw, and things that they hope for. So the ugly and the beautiful, all of it has been documented through art. So I would just ask people to visit the gallery, and from there, conversations naturally happen. The gallery is that sort of space. So yeah, they should just visit.
Well, brilliant. So one place where they could see your art is at the gallery. But what other places, other whether online or offline, where people could see and people could go and see your work?
Online, my website, my Facebook, my Instagram.
Yeah. So Facebook, Instagram is Gabrielle Tesfaye, and website I think is the Gabrielle Tesfaye as well.
.com.
.com. Yeah. So those of you listening to us who think that there's she's doing a worthwhile work, you could go to any of those places and visit. Those of you in Mekelle, I would strongly recommend that you go to the gallery and experience and have conversations with her. She's my friend. I know her. She does a amazing work. So that was that from my side, Gabrielle. If there is something that you want to say, please do feel free to say that. Otherwise, that would be that for today.
You can you leave it, Ami?
Good. I'm impressed with the Tigrinya. That's yeah. Good job. Good job. Maybe next time, now that you have become an official partner of the channel, we should maybe have the conversation in Tigrinya. Maybe that's a challenge you could take on. What do you think?
Yes, she.
All right. All right. Yeah. Thank you very much, and best of luck in everything you do in Tigray. I think Tigray needs now people like you who have different perspective, who have different ways of seeing things, and who does things that are not mainstream. Art isn't a thing in Tigray, so it's really good that you are introducing it to Tigray. I understand the challenge, the uncertainty with all the noise of war and all that. So I understand the pain, but it's still going on. So well done for that. And to those listening to us, do what you can to support her, and please do subscribe to the channel as well. That was that for today. Thank you, and bye bye.